Arusha pamoja na mwanafunzi mwingine anayeitwa Mackenzie, na sasa tunataka kuenda soko la Masai kununua zawadi kwa familia yangu na yako. As most of you all may know, I spent my summer continuing my Swahili language learning journey in Usa River, Tanzania, outside of the third largest city in Tanzania, Arusha, which has a population of roughly 600,000 people. Arusha is situated along the northern part of Tanzania, about 170 miles away from Nairobi in Kenya, 200 miles away from the Serengeti, 50 miles from the base of Mount Kilimanjaro, and over 100 miles away from the Ngorongoro crater, which makes it the hub city for tourism. Tanzania is a unique country along the eastern shore of Africa and the Indian Ocean, with a population of roughly 70 million, and it shares borders with 8 countries: Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Burundi, Democratic Republic of Congo, Zambia, Malawi, and Mozambique. In total, Tanzania has over 120 ethnic tribes, and you can find all of them in Arusha, Tanzania. The official languages of Tanzania are Swahili and English. Now let's talk about weather. For most of my content this summer, you'll see me wearing a jacket, and that's because America's summer months are Tanzania's colder months. Typically, the temperatures would average between low 50s and mid 60s, occasionally getting up to mid 70s. Low humidity for the entire summer, but we would go days without seeing the sun. In terms of transportation, daladallas are the most common form of transportation in Tanzania. Daladala is kind of like a church van. It can fit roughly 20 people comfortably, but it's only right in Tanzania that you squeeze in 30. Another form of transportation are called coasters, which are mini buses that are a little bit larger than daladallas, and they can fit about 45 people comfortably. Another option for transportation are piki-pikis, toyos, boda-bodas. Those are all 3 names that are synonymous for motorcycles. In my program, we weren't allowed to take them, but those are the cheapest forms of transportation. For the most part, I would take a bajaji from home to school in the morning time, and I would choose to walk back maybe 3 to 4 times a week, and I would stop at the local bakery to pick up a chocolate croissant. And it got to the point where the people there knew that I was a regular, and they would save me a chocolate croissant for my walk home. The walk home was about 2 miles and would take an hour to an hour and 10 minutes to get home, and I could take a dollar instead of a bajaji to school for about 20 cents, but I would still have to walk 17 minutes to the main road, so I often opted for the bajaji, which cost me about $1.40 each day. Even though Arusha is only 12 to 13 miles away from the school, it would take about an hour to an hour and a half to travel there by dollar because of all of the frequent stopping. Unlike America, there are not necessarily designated stops, so anywhere anybody motions to be picked up or dropped off, they're able to stop. We love to go to the city on the weekends, and there were so many things that we enjoyed doing there. Going to bookshops, going to coffee shops, thrift shopping. There was even a store called Shoppers that was kind of similar to like a small Walmart. There was even a Pizza Hut. And it was a great opportunity for us to practice our language learning skills with the locals. Leo nilifanya uwasilishaji wangu kuhusu virusi vya Ebola na Marburg. Sasa ninataka kulala, lakini kesho ninahitaji kufanya mtihani, kwa hiyo maisha endelea. In terms of currency conversion, $1 US equals about 2,500 Tanzanian shillings. And to put that into perspective, I could buy 2 huge avocados, roughly the size of 6 American avocados for 1,000 shillings, which is about 39 cents. I could spend that same amount of money on a 12 to 13 mile ride from Usa River to Arusha. 1,000 shillings, 39 cents. From my research, I've gathered 3 interesting facts about Tanzania. Number 1, Mount Kilimanjaro is the highest freestanding mountain in the world and Africa's tallest peak at 19,341 feet. Tanzania spans East Africa and includes parts of 3 African Great Lakes. Lake Victoria, which is the largest lake in Africa, Lake Tanganyika, which is the deepest on the continent and the second deepest freshwater lake globally, and Lake Malawi. Third, around 30% of Tanzania's landmass is conserved in national parks, reserves, and marine areas. If you check out my next video, I'll show you my trip to 2 national parks, the Serengeti and the Ngorongoro Crater.